Do you believe in an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth? In other words, do you think that when someone does something wrong, they should be faced with the same kind of retaliation? Capital punishment, the idea that people should be punished in a reciprocal form for their crimes, is exercised in the usage of the death penalty in America. We should abolish this process because of the negative effects it imposes on the mental health of those involved. As someone who has conducted a fair amount of research regarding the death penalty, I can tell you the process of sentencing someone to death row is traumatizing and mentally taxing for not only the inmates, but additionally their loved ones and those working on death row. The harsh conditions inmates endure while on death row negatively impact their psychological and mental health. Because most of the inmates' time is spent alone, they become deprived of outside stimulation, leading to anxiety, depression, and more. According to Radelitz's Families, Prisons, and Men with Death Sentences, The Human Impact of Structured Uncertainty, Journal of Family Issues 4.4, no education or work opportunities are available to the prisoners, and opportunities for counseling are extremely limited, referred to on page 596. The use of the death penalty does not only adversely impact the inmates on death row, but also their family and friends. Disenfranchised grief is the idea that friends and family members know they have to work through the feelings of loss, but also attempt to hide their feelings for the embarrassment they feel. When interviewed by Jones and Beck for disenfranchised grief and non-finite loss as experienced by families of death row inmates, families indicated that they do not feel comfortable acknowledging their loss with anyone outside of their family, referred to on page 291. Along with inmates and their family members, working on death row is detrimental to the mental health of prison guards. Prison guards have to handle violence, threats, and cruel language being spoken to them by inmates on an everyday basis. But some guards, specifically on death row, additionally have the responsibility of executing some of those inmates. Donald A. Cabana, a former prison guard responsible for several executions on death row, describes his experience as a chilling expose of the darkest emotions of the sinistry. Although it may seem logical to kill someone because they have murdered, when we look at all other aspects of our society, we do not take this approach. In other words, if someone wrongs you, you are not taught to wrong them. Sentencing someone to death row for committing a crime contradicts the value of discipline and punishment that we are trying to instill in future generations. Using capital punishment causes irreversible psychological damage to inmates, disenfranchised grief for loved ones of the convicted, and traumatic stress to prison guards working on death row. Considering these facts, I believe it is clear that the drawbacks of the death penalty clearly outweigh the benefits, if any, at all.